Hey everyone, my name is Harry Kusrianto, the president and co-founder of Interfaith Study and Community Development Association in conjunction with Philadelphia Roundtable. In it, we're going to talk about the issue and the subject of race and a different color. So joining with me is Brother Amir Mikhail. He's a radio host and he's running the Philadelphia chapter for the Missing Page History, the non-profit organization down at Virginia. So like I said, we want to talk and discuss about the issue and the subject of race and a different color. Now, Brother Michael, as we know, in our society, most people still get cut off in their progressive notion, in the racial barrier.
Well, let's put it this way. When it comes to race,
Yeah.
we need to define that. That's something I appreciate that you brought to the table, to the round table. That is the idea of race not being a real issue. It's an issue that people use to divide other people. When I look at the word race, it puts in the mind of people trying to get somewhere. And the question is, who's going to get there first, and who's going to run things? So that's really what the issue of race, to me, relates to. It's an opportunity for some people to get ahead and leave the others behind. Now, what we've done with the Philadelphia Roundtable, we've done a forum, and we brought some information about the concept of race and what race is and how it's been looked at over time. Race was not always defined the way that we've gotten it today. There was a time when different peoples ran different parts of the world. It wasn't always the way it is that we see now. The ancient Moors, ancient Israelites, the Romans, various peoples from around the world ran different parts of the world and were in charge of the world at different times. You can go into the Bible and it tells about how the Ethiopians, or Kush, were renowned throughout the world, the known world, in that they ran the world. They were the most feared army on the planet at that time. We see when the Moors left North Africa and went into Spain, they ran Europe, and there was a huge slave trade that predates the American slave trade. However, we are always given the impression that the world just started yesterday and that the way things are at the moment is the way things have always been.
So what do you think will be a best solution? What will be the middle part to bring about understanding or to break down this racial barrier in our society?
Well, I think they hit the nail on the head when they began to allow people to know one another. For instance, if I only get my information from cartoons, movies, television shows, I'm only getting that producer's idea of what another race is. And we talk about that. We see that with the different shows coming from Amos and Andy in the 1950s and 60s in the United States, to the Mod Squad where they tried a little integration in the 70s. And these were things that helped people to get over some of those racial stereotypes that they'd been given before that time. It's the stereotypes that are governing how we interact with each other. So information, the destruction of ignorance concerning these issues will allow people to communicate on a more realistic level rather than communicating from out of ignorance alone.
All right. So I guess the question would be: do you think at this point in 21st century, in 2014, do you think the notion of the racial barrier still being played in our society? Do you think people still get cut off, still stumble over that notion?
Certainly, I find that all we have to do is turn on the news and you
Right.
see the incident that took place in Missouri. There was a couple of incidents there in
Right.
Los Angeles. We had the LA riots a few years back.
You see.
And when I was a little boy in the 60s, there were riots every couple of years because of the inequalities and the prejudice that had been placed in the minds of white Americans in general. And the sad thing is that a lot of that same prejudice has been spread throughout the world, so that the African American has a very bad reputation, and not necessarily deservedly so, throughout the planet. Anybody who's seen these old movies generally gets the impression that African Americans are not the same as anybody else, that they're an inferior people. But this is all movie propaganda. and it was used to keep things the way they wanted them. Where one race had power, and the other races were to take a secondary position, and supposed to learn to love it, but that didn't work out.
Right. All right, everyone. For those of you who listening to this conversation, and those of you who tuning to this video channel, as I just mentioned earlier, on behalf of Interfaith Study and Community Development Association, in associate with Philadelphia Roundtable, I like all of you to get info, participate. So if you have any idea, if you would like to have some comment or want to send your feedback, you can call us at the number 267-770-6360, or you can call Brother Amir. What was the number for?
Well, we have several businesses going here. We have Nation Records Inc., Philadelphia Roundtable, and I'm also part of Interfaith Studies and Community Development Association. And the number here is 267-687-8488. You can contact us, leave a message, we'll get back to you. And we'd like to work with all the people who are positive in the Philadelphia area. I'd like to also take this time to say peace to the brothers and sisters of the Missing Pages of History in Virginia. And in Raleigh, North Carolina, we have 3 chapters. And hope to talk to you all soon. Get in touch. 267-687-8488.
Okay, again, everyone, we just discussed earlier, the idea and the issue of racism still floating around in our community. You know, we have crime and violence driven by the notion and the feeling of racism, hatred and prejudice. So I guess I'm trying to get more deeper to get clarity. So Brother Amir, what do you think would be the best way, the best strategy? What would be our plan, our agenda in the future to bring about understanding or to promote the idea of diversity, unity in diversity? Because we all know should realize in the future, in the end of the day, I mean, the color and the race is I mean, it doesn't matter. It has God Almighty doesn't put any value on it. So we want to promote the idea of unity in diversity, the beauty of diversity. So again, my question would be, what would be our agenda, our program in the future to bring about or to promote and to socialize the the idea and the notion of unity in diversity?
Well, I think one of the best things we can do as a roundtable, a discussion group, and is to educate one another and bring our true feelings to the table. Excuse me, so that we can get to know other groups beyond the stereotypes. As we grow up, we are bombarded with media, and depending on the source of the media, we're getting a particular viewpoint as to what the Asian community is like, the Hispanic community, the African American community. Any particular community has those various stereotypes. So as we can defeat the untruths about the groups and educate the masses about who these people really are, we'll find out that we're not so very different, that we all have the same needs. We all need clean air, clean water, clean food, a chance to live in peace and security. That's what most people around the world would like. So as we begin to communicate a little further, you can learn about the history of all these different peoples, when they ran the planet, because every group has run the planet at some different point, and what we can do to make a peaceful, better, more safer, gentler nation, so to speak.
I guess this is just from my personal point of view. As I'm running the non-profit organization, the Interfaith Study and Community Development Association, and we try to collaborate each other. Now, in my view, I guess we need to start try to promote, try to socialize, and try to launch, the massive campaign on just to give, the picture image, up there. Try to, to promote the idea of being, unity in diversity, where people from all different color, black, white, Asian, Latino, or Jewish, or Arab, So I personally like, to see in the next future, I'm in the society. I like to see, people from different race. They can interact and go each other, from different race. I like to see the young people, either let's say black people. I like to see the black young people can go out, with white girl if they wanna go out, they wanna, have a date and go out, or they wanna, go to the different level or get married. Also, vice versa. I like to see that, the white man be able to go out and, have a date with the black woman. So this is the kind of picture in my mind that I like to see, in the future. So I like to see people can go out, interact each other beyond the racial barrier and color, and without being intimidated or without being embarrassed. So I guess those notions are already coming up in our society. Like we discussed yearly. It used to be that, people from different color they get married and being illegal, being banned. Now in this day, people can get married from different race, different color. Now, so give us a little bit of your point of view, your thought on that.
Well, that's a decision that each individual has to make as whether they're going to stay within their own particular community or do they want to go to another community or intermarry. I believe that when equality truly comes, a lot of that won't be important because at that point you'll see the person for who they are. For a lot of African Americans, they've been given a very low vision of themselves, and because of that reason, there may be intermarriage, not because of a true understanding of the relationship or a true love relationship, but it may be that it's not always an equal relationship. But once equality comes, then you can begin to explore those areas. It was illegal in many states in the United States for races to intermarry, especially the African American and the European American. But that seems to have subsided to some degree. Some peoples will stay within their community because that's what they wish to do.
Right. So I guess this is another point of view that came up in my mind, and I'm speaking on behalf of Interfaith Study and Community Development. The way I look at it is, I'm just trying to, encourage people up there. Let us look at the other side of what it is. The different color, different race, doesn't have to be a problem. Doesn't have to be something that bothers us. It doesn't have to be a barrier. That's blocking people away. We don't have to have, a notion of prejudice and hatred over the other. So in fact, what I'm trying to say is that the different color and diversity, in fact, would be the beauty of what it is. In other words, the reason why the world is so beautiful is because the color. Now think about it, just to make it simple. Now think about the rainbow. So the rainbow, if you look at the rainbow, is so beautiful and so colorful, and that's what makes the rainbow so beautiful. So likewise, we have in our world that we live a different color, different race, different nationality, different custom, different different tradition, and that's what make the world a place that we live so beautiful. So again, this is the beauty of diversity. So those are the messages that I'm trying to get and to reach out up there. We have to see the flip side of this argument, the beauty in diversity. This is another point that I'm trying to bring in this discussion. As I'm personally a Muslim, the way I look at it just remind me when it's come to this discussion, there is a chapter and passage in the Quran where it says, the 49th chapter and verse 13 in the Quran, it's mentioned that God Almighty say in that book, the last final revelation.
تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا الذي له ملك السماوات والأرض ولم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكور وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائلا لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. O mankind, we created you from a single soul, male and female, and made you into nations and tribes, so that you may come to know one another. Truly, the most honor of you in God's sight is the greatest of you in piety. God is all-knowing and all-aware. Quran chapter 49 verse 13.
Of you is the one who righteous most. The best of you is the one who righteous and pious and piety. So those passages just bring to my intention, So I being a Muslim, I guess this is what what proud me to be a Muslim. And the point being is that I'm so proud to tell the people that Islam is so beautiful, it is so practical and universal, that Islam doesn't have any barrier of color and and race. This is why we have a Muslim from all different color, different background, different ethnicity. We have a black Muslim, white Muslim, European Muslim, Chinese or Russian Muslim. So in that case, Brother Amir, as you being Muslim, so give us your thought about that.
Well, let's put it this way. The idea of equality is a beautiful idea, and that's something we should all strive towards, to give everyone a chance to be the best person that they can be and encourage that. At the same time, we have to look at reality. The world is not quite there yet. So as we begin to learn more about each other and break those stereotypes, we can begin to value each other as human beings and get away from the stereotypes that have been holding everyone hostage for so long. I find with the younger generation, those stereotypes are less prevalent in their minds, so they deal with each other on a more humane and more real level. With the older generation, there's more work to do. In different parts of the world, the prejudice comes through despite the ideals, and I think that's something we have to continue to work on.
So I guess this will be final thought. This pump out in my mind. As we look at the thing around us, think about everything that we look at. Think about the thing that exists around us. Everything exists and created with a different color and diversity. Look at the flower, the vegetation. Look at the food around us. Everything being created and exists with different color, different shape and form. So that's what I'm trying to point out. At this point, that's the world that we live are so much diverse, so much different color, different shape and form, and that's what makes the world that we live as a beautiful place to live. And that's very much the final thought that came up in my mind. So again, everyone, if you are listening to this conversation, either from the radio, you can call us the number as we just mentioned earlier, and if you are tuning in to our YouTube video channel, you can call us to the same number also. So again, send us your feedback. If you have any comment, any question, you can call the number. As we want to repeat again, we want to mention the number again. So again, Brother Amir, thank you for your time, thank you for your thought and for your perspective. Hopefully, everything that you share here will give us, will give the audience the insightful thought, give us, give the perspective, and give the audience the enlightenment. And again, if you don't mind, you may mention your, your number again, how people can contact you if they're interested.
Yes, for Philadelphia Roundtable, Nation Records, Interfaith Studies, and Missing Pages of History in Philadelphia, 267-687-8488. That's 267-687-8488. And you can call, leave a message. We're getting ready to put the roundtable into full effect. We'll be discussing issues like this, as well as home ownership, educating people about the political process on a local level. And we are looking for your input. We are generating a blog talk radio program, Philadelphia Roundtable.com, and we hope you will participate, get in touch, and we'll sign you up for your own show. 267-687-8488.
Again, so everyone, like I just mentioned, this conversation, the Philadelphia Roundtable, the subject, the topic, and the issue that we just discussed will be an ongoing program. We will have a variety of different issues, different subjects to discuss in the future. So again, keep in touch, keep tuning in to our channel. Again, if you can, visit my website at www.ifs-cda.webs.com, and also with the Philadelphia Roundtable website, www.philaroundtable.webs.com. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching this channel, and we'll see you again in the next future. Peace.
Peace.